Bonus segment, you lucky dogs that stuck around with us here on Locked On Hornets. I am actually reading a tweet from Rod Boone of the Charlotte Observer, really 10 minutes after we got off of the pod, and this tweet is coming in, as if I'm reading it, 1 minute ago. Rod Boone, no LaMelo in the All-Star game. Trae Young has been named by Adam Silver to replace injured Milwaukee Bucks forward Giannis Antetokounmpo. So we literally just talked about this. We honestly wondered if we should even do a bonus segment because we talked about this very scenario happening and then told you what we would feel.
Called it.
Yeah, it's the fatigue of this. You can't be shocked, right? And I think a big part of disappointment can be the surprise element, and I am not surprised at this. We literally just talked about Trae Young being the guy that takes over a LaMelo spot. And if AD is out on the other side of things, out on the Western Conference, well, I have to imagine they're going to pick somebody from the Western Conference side of the NBA because that's how votes are coming in. That's how reserves are picked for each side of the country. So I think LaMelo Ball, after being passed over for Trae Young, there would have to be another injury on the Eastern Conference side of things for him to have another shot and then get a quadruple snubbed, the rare, maybe unique quadruple snubbed.
So I think this is wrong. I think it's absurd, but I think those things because I'm framing the All-Star game and the All-Star weekend as fans are interpreting it, which is like, this is an event for me, the fan. I want to see the players that I want to see, and I want to see exciting, crazy basketball. And LaMelo represents so much of what that is. But the bottom line is that's not the way the league sees it. That's not the way the media sees it. I think the players have plenty of respect for LaMelo Ball, but the people that actually matter, we found out who actually matters in this process. It's not the fans, it's not the players, it's the media, it's the league executives. And they all have an opinion of LaMelo Ball. And I think at the root of that opinion is that he has not played in big games. Trae Young has played in big games. He has won playoff series. He has rolled the dice in Madison Square Garden and been in high pressure situations with actual stakes and done things and played in a lot of games. LaMelo has done none of those things. And so while I think all of this stinks, I hope that the Hornets internalize this. I hope that LaMelo internalizes this as, okay, this is how the game is played. This is how you want it played. I'm going to do everything in my power, both as a franchise and a player, to get into those high-stakes situations, win those games, win those playoff series so that I can put all of this to bed. I no longer remain on the margins of this discussion. I can now be firmly in that place. That is the only message that you can take away from this. And if you're the Hornets as a franchise, honestly, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself for not putting the talent around LaMelo earlier. That's not all on the new ownership group and Jeff Peterson. That's on Michael Jordan. That's on Mitch Kupchak. But you should be ashamed of yourself, and also for not putting a big enough campaign around LaMelo Ball to convince some of these media members that he was doing things that made him a winning player. They failed in this version of the franchise, failed in that regard. They should be ashamed of themselves.
What's interesting about this, too, is that Trae Young is not exactly the most respected player in the league by media. They actually don't love Trae Young's game either because, one,
Correct.
They kept him out the first time because of all the losses, but not nearly as many losses as the Hornets right now. But it's because Trae Young, in terms of efficiency, in terms of shooting, is also a player that just doesn't get that kind of respect. He is one of also the best passers in the NBA. We know that he does impact winning, but also defensively, he's a complete hole. He's been called the worst defender in the league because of size, zero stature whatsoever defensively, and also the instincts are just kind of maybe lacking along with the effort. And LaMelo, despite going against a guy that the media doesn't think very highly of, it goes to show you just where LaMelo ranks in all of this compared to other players and how the media views them. The other thing is, man, now we're just not going to get any accolades for LaMelo whatsoever this season because he misses the 65-game threshold with some of the games that he's missed already. So now, not that he was going to get All-NBA anyway. If he's not going to get All-Star, he's not going to get All-NBA. I don't know if the 65-game mark would have really helped him in any way, but now you can officially confirm, I guess, these awards being stripped from him because he doesn't meet the requirement, and now the All-Star appearance is stripped from him not because he doesn't meet the requirement, but because media and Adam Silver told you we're not going to put him in either as a starter, as a reserve, or as a first alternate. And that's unfortunate for Hornets fans that watch what he does against San Antonio and clearly sees how much he makes this team better and brings them a win because of incredible passes like the one he had to Miles Bridges.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything else to say except that you know, if you're LaMelo Ball, you know what the deal is now. You know what gets you into the All-Star game. If you're interested in that, then I would be knocking on Jeff Peterson's door and saying, what the heck are we doing this offseason? Not second inning of a ball game. I want to be in the seventh inning. We're past the stretch. We're locking in here, ready to win this thing. What are we doing next offseason to improve this roster to the point where I know that if everyone stays healthy, even if we have one or two injuries, we can make the playoffs? What are we doing?
All right, so that'll do it for a Locked On bonus segment of Locked On Hornets. So we appreciate everybody hanging out with us. Once again, have a great rest of your day. We'll be back with you tomorrow.